Close. The city of Everett in Washington state is suing Purdue Pharma, maker of OxyContin, in an unusual case that alleges the drug maker knowingly allowed pills to be funneled into the black market in Everett, helping launch an opioid epidemic. March 14, APFORT Myers, FLA, OxyContin has become one of the most recognizable brand names in the nation's deadly opioid epidemic. Starting January 1, the state's largest health insurer will cease coverage of the drug in favor of a painkiller less easy to abuse. Florida Blue's alternate, insurer, is similar to OxyContin in that it is an extended-release, oxycodone-based product. The big difference, the company said Tuesday, is that insurer is more chemically suited to prevent users from crushing, snorting or injecting it, all means of getting a quicker, and potentially more lethal, high. More New Jersey sues OxyContin maker, claims it misled public. More parents charged in 5-year-old son's OxyContin death. Florida Blue's new policy will not apply to generic oxycodone, which is sold as an immediate-release drug at lower doses and is less likely to be so abused, said Scott McClelland, the company's vice president of commercial and specialty pharmacy. Imagine if you could take an 80-milligram extended-release OxyContin tablet and crush it and inject it and get it all at once, as opposed to a 5-milligram oxycodone tablet, McClelland said. So, that's the big reason there's such huge concerns about these extended-release formulations. It's a really big dose. The OxyContin ban applies to all Florida Blue individual and group plans. Medicare Advantage plans are excluded. Insurer is manufactured by Canton, Massachusetts-based Collegium Pharmaceutical Inc. Though it touts the drug's abuse deterrent technology, it does not guarantee that the drug cannot be abused. The company also notes although insurer is formulated to make manipulation more difficult, it cannot entirely prevent abuse. Abuse of insurer by injection and via the oral and nasal routes is still possible. More without cash. Trump's opioid emergency declaration is a farce destined to fail. More new tech firm aims to protect real estate agents from opioid addicts. The company's decision to drop OxyContin follows a federal declaration earlier this year that the nation is in the grips of an opioid overdose epidemic. Shortly thereafter, Florida Gov. Rick Scott signed an executive order declaring the opioid epidemic a statewide public health emergency. Opioids were the direct cause of 2,664 Florida overdose deaths in 2016 and showed up in the toxicology reports of 4,515 Floridians that year, according to an interim report from the Florida Medical Examiners Commission. Fentanyl, morphine, and heroin were the top 3 causes of lethal opioid overdoses. Oxycodone was fourth. Florida Blue typically pays for 1.5 million opioid prescriptions every year, according to the company. About 8% of that business is for prescriptions lasting longer than 30 days, a group at a higher risk for addiction and overdose. Florida Blue already has quantity limits on long and short-acting painkillers. It has also required prior approval for prescriptions of extended-release opioid painkillers, such as OxyContin and fentanyl. The policy was updated October 1 to include prior approval for short-acting painkillers needed for more than 7 days, McClelland said. We want to prevent as much abuse and addiction and deaths related to these overdoses as possible, he said. We're just trying to take an active role and prevent these deaths that are occurring on a daily basis. In October, major insurer Cigna announced it will effectively stop covering OxyContin use by customers of its employer-based health plans beginning in January, CNBC reported. Cigna also announced it will continue covering an OxyContin alternative, part of its efforts to cut opioid use by its customers 25% by 2019, CNBC reported. More how to help someone with an opioid problem. Close. Opioid addiction is a staggering problem in Indiana, affecting 1 in 20 Hoosiers or nearly 300,000 people. The Indy Star is partnering with the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation on a year-long reporting series to raise awareness of the opioid epidemic. Dwight Adams Indy Star. Follow Frank Gluck on Twitter at FrankGluckRed or share this story http://sussit.ly to Hacusel.